Hello and welcome to the Bright Futura podcast. I think this is episode 6. I'm your host this week again, Mike O'Rourke, and with me is...
Joshua Hinkins!
Not at all. And with me is...
Sophie Casewell!
Yeah, so Josh couldn't be here this week because he's off fighting demons in the nether realm or something. I'm not entirely sure. But seeing as we have a special guest for this week of the podcast, I want to go into a little bit about you, Sophie, if that's cool.
Okay.
First thing being, what do you do?
Well, I'm normally the Bright Futura live audience. It's normally me playing Zelda most of the time. So if you hear that, then this me.
Okay, so I was more interested in what you do in relation to the podcast. Like, what makes you a viable guest to have on here?
Well, I am a student graphic designer at the same place that you went and Josh is currently at.
Yes.
I am a year above Josh, even though I'm younger than Josh.
2 years, right?
No, he retook his first year, so he's first and I'm in... No, he's second, I'm in third.
Okay.
And I'm graduating this year, which is scary.
It's not that scary. It is at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared, but I was done with education.
Captain Calm.
I was done with education. I've been in education, well, had been in education for a long time. And it was time for me to stop because I've been doing this for a long time now.
Too long.
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount you can take of education sometimes and you just like, I'm done. I need to start doing something else.
I was signed off around second year. I was just done.
I think I'm getting to that point now, but I'm just like...
Well, you're close to the end now. So
I'm just like, it's the home stretch. I might as well put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, I've seen the stuff you're doing recently as well, and it's very nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm currently doing a branding project for a skincare and cosmetics company.
You showed me the logo earlier today and yesterday.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of iterations of it, and it's very nice.
Thank you.
I like it.
Not very good with logos. I think it's the weakest point of my work.
Never say that. Never say you're not good.
I'm great at logos. Yeah.
No, you are good. You just don't think you are.
I am very... I feel like a lot of people in my class have confidence issues, including myself.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to be like positive about your own work.
See, when I was at uni, our year was quite an anomaly. I think we were all fairly confident in what we did. Maybe a lot of people weren't at the start, but I feel like my year at university had more of a background in graphic design and illustration. And we had a lot of sort of standout designers, some that I would say are possibly better than me. There was one guy who, in his third year, he made a vinyl cover and like a bunch of like a booklet and stuff to go with it, all out of mold.
Oh yeah, that's like, on display in one of the lecture
He
rooms
grew
now.
mold and like. It was phenomenal. I think the typeface was made out of mold as well.
Wasn't
like
it
he
cheese?
he cut the cheese into letter forms and then let mold grow on it, and it was.
That's cool.
It's weird that something so disgusting is that like beautiful and really well made. And
I did something like that in my second year for the tangible type project. We had to make type out of stories that the English students did, and I did type out of gingerbread, and it took me
this
whole day to make a gingerbread address it was for Hansel and Gretel, and it was a gingerbread house address. So I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I'll make all this typeface. It took me a whole day, and by the time I finished, my neck was aching because I was constantly bent over the table, and I took it into uni. People tried to eat it. But I realised how burnt it was because I left it in the oven too long.
Yeah. So you're a graphic designer and illustrator as well?
I do the drawings course, but I haven't took any of the illustration groups in 2 years.
But that's you do preference. Draw in your own time though. I see you. In fact, I've got a drawing of yours on my desk right now.
My little roller.
Yeah, it's a little watercolor Rowlet from Pokemon.
But I couldn't remember what it was called at the time, so it's just labelled bird thing.
Yeah, this was before the game came out, so you weren't too familiar with it.
No.
But it's actually really nice. I'm a big fan.
Do you like watercolor?
Complete with hold on, let me get the ASMR sounds in there. Complete with test swatches as well.
Can have those test swatches. It means like that's how it's authentic.
Yeah.
Authentic Casewell edition.
So you're at university.
Yes.
You're in your third year.
Yes.
In your second semester.
Yes.
You're almost done.
Almost done.
What's the plan from there?
I want to be a graphic designer. It's a very weird answer when people ask me that, because they're like, what do you do in university? I'm like, graphic design. I'm like, oh, so what do you want to do?
Graphic design. Yeah. No, but what, like, you obviously you can go into different parts of graphic design. Like, you can focus on a subject, or you can go into the sort of jack of all trades design agency or whatever. So what is the part that you want to focus on at this point? It'll change in probably 6 months time. I can pretty much guarantee you that.
Well, I think I wanted to go into like an all-rounder graphic design position, but because I'm doing a magazine project at uni, and I think it's one of my strongest projects I've done so far. Well,
I agree. I think it is. It's really nice.
So I want to go into like magazine publishing. Yeah. To do in the graphics department. So I think that would be really cool, but it's very hard to find places find a way to get into that.
Around this area, it's quite difficult. Yeah, there are places in London, but obviously the commute, it's not great, and it's a very competitive environment. I've been to London a few times, and I know people that work there as well, and it is competitive, but that's kind of, I suppose that's kind of the fun of London. If you could call it that. It's the fun of the most expensive place to live in the UK.
I mean, commuting from Birmingham wouldn't be like the worst thing on earth, but it's not ideal. But I don't know. I'd consider it if the right opportunity came up, I think.
Okay, so you like magazine design,
I do.
But you wanna focus on more of an all-roundy sort of thing. Is that to find exactly what you want to do, or is that just you like every part of design, or what?
I do like every part of design, but some things like I wouldn't. It's hard to like find something that you excel at, kind of thing. Like if you're an all-round designer, so I feel like a lot of things, doing a lot of things, and averagely isn't as good as focusing on one thing and being the best at that thing.
Yeah,
that can limit you. So
essentially, what you're saying is the phrase there. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
No, you'd be surprised because I work in quite a varied job. I mean, you see my work that I make all the time. I'm doing something different every day, but I can still see what I'm best at. And the good thing about where I work is I can sort of translate that into the other things that I do. So if I know sort of I'm good at building a brand, I can utilize that when I make websites and stuff. So I can say a company already has a brand or something, I can see what their brand message or their brand identity is, and I can carry that on throughout the website and sort of help elevate the website with that. So there's a lot of sort of cross play with I'm not entirely sure if that's the correct term, but I'm gonna roll with it. There's a lot of sort of crossover with the different parts. That's a completely different thing. That is when a male dresses up as a female character in cosplay, or vice versa.
Isn't that also called a gender bend?
Yeah, it is.
But that sounds so bad to me. I don't know why.
I don't know. It's anyway. Tangent. So yeah.
Maths podcast.
There's a lot of crossover with that kind of stuff. It's something you'll discover sort of in the industry rather than at university, because when I was at university, I was pretty sort of average across the board at everything, and since leaving, you feel a lot more creative and a lot more sort of freedom when you get into the workplace. It's really different. Honestly, university isn't like what the job is at all.
Is it not? Does it not prepare you enough, or?
Well,
so what's the difference?
I find that in university, you're stuck with, you have to meet the quota of the module or the course. You have to hit certain points to get certain grades, and in the industry, obviously, there's none of that. There's no grading system. It's people like what you do or they don't like what you do.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Like, and if you, this is the one part of university that is true, and it infuriates me because it's the one part I hated. If you back up your work enough, people will see it in a better light. Now, when I was at university, I did no backup work. Some of the modules, in all fairness, I probably shouldn't have passed, but I got, sort of allowed to pass the module because the final product was really good. Their words, not mine. Don't hate me. I'm sorry. Yeah. So if you have enough sound reasoning and backup for the way you do things, it does actually help sway the clients. So, like, say when I create logos and branding for companies or a product or whatever, it comes with a brand guidelines. I've sent you some of them.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them.
But I go into the reasons why I've done things and how the logo should be used and sort of, what colours they should be in, and when it's on this kind of background, it should be these colours. When it's on this, it should be these ones, and all that kind of stuff. They love it.
Yeah.
Like one of the logos that I was working on yesterday, it's for a candle company, and the main sort of symbol in it is supposed to represent the fraying and discoloration of a wick when you light it.
Okay.
It's like a big calligraphy B in the middle of the logo, and then parts of it fray off and make this really nice like hand-done script, and it's this sort of, it's like a purple with a brown hue, and that's supposed to be when you light a wick, it frays and it turns brown and all that stuff. And yeah, it's great.
No, it's really cool.
If you have the reasons to back up why you do things, people are more likely to sort of agree to it and use what you make.
The worst thing about being at uni though is some people just don't bother and they pass, and it's infuriating because you do like lots of work and then you try your hardest and then there's people there and they're not bothered about being there and they pass, and it's so annoying.
It happens, but at the end of the day, the people that try are the ones that are going to do well in the job. Anyway, that's enough about that because we're already 15 minutes in. Crikey. Almost. What specifically have you been doing this week?
This week, I have been working on this branding project for uni.
Yeah.
Working on some logo designs for this cosmetics company called Ivory and Lace.
Yeah, I did see the logo. It's really nice use of the ampersands.
Yeah, because I was doing a logo that was just based on the typography, and it wasn't fitting well because of the ampersand and two weirdly shaped letters.
Yeah, when the letter forms just sort of don't line up. It's like the Y and the L together. It just doesn't really fit.
It doesn't look great together.
But I saw the logo, and what you've done is you've done a sans serif I, an ampersand and an L, right?
Sans.
Yeah, sans. Serif, sorry. Yeah, Jesus.
Well, yeah, so I've got it wrong that time.
No, and you've linked them all together in this sort of, it's almost like lace, how that sort of wraps around itself and creates a pattern. You've taken the ampersands and used it to join the I and the L together, and it's really well thought out.
Yeah. What I suggested that I actually do buy lace and then use that for the logo.
No, forget that.
Three like actual objects, 3D things don't really work.
It doesn't work
not
as
like
a logo.
Photograph, and it's just. But I used just hitting the microphone. I used the way like lace would move to like join up two letters.
Yeah,
so
it's like how you weave lace.
Exactly.
Which is really nice. It works really well. And then the colours you used on the version that you sent me, you used an off-white for the ampersands, which is like ivory, obviously.
Well, yeah, ivory's a bit lighter, but I needed a
ivory's
colour.
a little more creamy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You had more of like a sort of grey. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just an experiment, but I wanted to experiment with like heat reacting foil and making the ampersand like shiny.
Yeah.
So it stood out, and I thought that would look really nice on like packaging that I'm going to create for it.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's always worth trying, and then if it doesn't work, then that's just more backup work that you have.
Backup work, you know. I love that backup work.
Okay, have you been doing anything else this week?
Cooking for a magazine.
Oh,
that we were doing. You helped me with that on.
See, I get to eat all this stuff. It's great.
So good. It's an excuse to just eat.
Eat really nice, easy to make food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're working on lots of different projects at once, which is pretty normal when you're at university, especially at the stage that you're at now.
Oh, and I'm trying to enter the D&AD competition.
But the website's currently down.
The website's down, and it's infuriating because I just want to get it over and done with.
It'll be up on the 27th again.
Yeah.
So if anyone else is looking to enter the New Blood Awards, it's back up on the 27th and the deadline's extended.
Yeah, but keep checking because it says on the website, keep coming back to us and we'll let you know. So communication skills.
If you do enter, you should leave a comment and let us know what you're entering.
You can share my pain.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Mike?
What have I been up to?
Michael, dear.
So much. I've done quite a lot this week actually. I've been working on storyboarding for animations. It's an explainer video for a company that does the technology behind sort of airport parking. Okay. That sounds really weird, but it's essentially they make sort of kiosks where you go and you scan a ticket and then you put your keys in a locker.
Okay.
And then they come and get the key out the locker. They go park your car in this sort of really close knit sort of parking system that fits a lot more cars in, and then they track where your keys are and they make sure that nothing happens to your car.
Nothing gets lost or anything.
They do like damage reports if anything does get damaged, and then the people are reimbursed, and then when people come back they get their keys back, but it's got a barcode attached. They scan it, find out where the car is, they go, they get it, they go home. It's basically
to make straightforward then.
To make parking easier, because surprisingly airport parking is not good. Did you know that?
It's awful. I haven't actually drove to an airport, but I don't want to.
No, I recommend not doing it.
Is this a new thing that started to
No, they've been doing this for a while, but at the minute they're sort of expanding and getting bigger. It's a fairly local company. They do sort of West Midlands area, but they have they've got people like Auckland Airport, that's in New Zealand. They've got
pretty local then.
Yeah. Well, they're mainly local, but they've got like Manchester Airport, which isn't too far. They've got London Stansted, which is a little bit further, but still not too far. Auckland Airport, which I just said, Quick Parks in Ireland, all that kind of stuff. And their system sort of like works the same in all these different places. It's just built to make it a little bit easier. And I've did animate a video, which actually I don't know if anyone that listens to the podcast knows that I animate.
Actually,
I mentioned hit record.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm animating an explainer video which just runs through all of their like services and how it works and everything.
Is that going to go on the website, or is it going to go on the actual machines in the airports?
No, it won't go on the machines, because if you're using it, you just ask the person that's there.
Oh, okay.
No, and it says on screen, it's pretty self-explanatory. No, it's to go on like website, social media. It's like a marketing video,
cool.
So it can be shared and shown how easy it is to use their system.
What kind of style are you doing? Like a flat style? Or?
No, that's to be decided at the minute. I have a pretty good idea of what the style's going to be. I'm only in storyboarding phase at the minute. Finished the storyboards today. Other than that, been branding a candle company.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. I've done loads this week.
Busy.
the thing is, the week goes so quick because I'm doing so many different things. I tend to forget about the things that I did at the start of the week. Doing a lot of social media stuff to promote stuff that we've done recently.
You've done a lot of drawing as well, I've noticed. The guy out of My Hero Academy.
Yeah, so I've advanced a bit on that. I did talk about this on the podcast not too long ago. Which, by the way, season 2 of My Hero Academy starts very
excited.
soon. I think it's like in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's
so
spring anime season, which is always the best one. Always. Fact. So that's what I've been doing this week. That's
cool.
what Sophie's been doing this week.
Yes.
We really need to get on to some topics because we've been talking about ourselves for like 20 minutes now.
We could talk all day.
Yeah. So a lot's happened this week. A lot.
Yeah.
So
exhausting week.
As of Friday, the people at a company called SourceFed found out that they're going to be shutting down. SourceFed is a news company that was started by Philip DeFranco in 2012.
I think so. I didn't really see
it's 2017 now, so 2012. It's been going for 5 years, and it's been going reasonably well for them, especially more recently. So it came as quite a shock that the company was being shut down.
Why did they get shut down?
Okay, so this is
details.
This is sort of up in the air at the minute, but there's a lot of speculation. So basically, Philip DeFranco sold his company, which is the Philip DeFranco Network, to the Discovery Network, which is obviously the Discovery Channel. They own things like the Dodo. They own a bunch of web-based stuff, but a lot of the names are escaping me right now. But huge company. They brought on Philip DeFranco because he started several channels that did really well, and he has himself like 5 million subscribers on YouTube now.
Something like that. Yeah,
I think he reached 5 million the other day.
His show.
Yeah, I do as well.
It's amazing.
It's really good. So he sold them to Discovery about 3 years ago, and since then they've cycled through to new hosts, and it dipped for a while. It wasn't very good, and then it brought itself back up recently, and they've been doing really well. And the main channel, SourceFed, was getting close to 2 million subscribers.
Yeah, they had a party, didn't they? Like end of last year, to reach 1 million.
No, that was SourceFed Nerd.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So SourceFed Nerd is an offshoot of SourceFed, and they cover nerdy subjects such
stuff.
as like comic books, movies, all sorts of stuff. Anything that's considered nerdy, like from comic books to anime to movies to anything, games. And they did really well when they made that channel as well. That's past 1 million subscribers. And then after that, one of the previous hosts of SourceFed created a new channel through the network called People Be Like. That was William Haynes, who, is a very passionate young person. He's a year younger than I am.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That channel is really new. It's floating around 300,000 subscribers. But for such a new channel, that's quite an achievement. And especially for the age of himself and the other hosts on there. And, that was climbing quite steadily. And then this Friday, Discovery announced all of these 3 networks are shutting down. The only one they're keeping is the Philip DeFranco show.
That's nothing we do with SourceFed anymore. Didn't he say that he had no input in the decision?
It's
SourceFed's content.
No, he's had no input on SourceFed for 3 years now since he sold it. He also sold his company to Discovery, but they're keeping him on for obvious reasons. He has over 5 million subscribers. He's still doing very well to this day, and he's been on the platform since the start of it, which is like 12 years ago or something crazy.
Like that,
yeah. So, it's shutting down. Hundreds of people are losing their jobs. It's a mess. I feel really bad for a lot of the people just because they're genuinely really good people who care about their audience, and they've grown these companies themselves. Although they don't own the YouTube channels or the company, they are the people that we see every day. They're the people that write the stories and sort of create the videos. It even gets to the point where we know who the editors are, who are never like on camera, but they care so much that they become sort of part
of the
of
family.
Yeah. And you know, I just wanted to bring it up because I've watched all of these channels since they started, and you know, they do a lot of good for people, especially young people. They see SourceFed as a really good source for news that they might not have otherwise found because they're young, and generally young people don't watch the news, but they sort of present it in such a way that young people can take it in and enjoy, you know, hearing the news. And then you've got SourceFed Nerd, which is my personal favorite, which helps a lot of young people that, you know, are into sort of nerdy, quote unquote, things, and they might not, you know, have other friends that are also into these things, and it's just somewhere for them to go. It's sort of an outlet for
It's like a nice community.
Yeah, it's a community. That's exactly what it is, and they can go there and get their sort of nerdy fix. And you know, especially with SourceFed Nerd, you can tell the hosts are so passionate about what they do because they themselves are just nerds, and you know, it's really sad. I wrote an article on Medium the other day specifically aimed at two people at SourceFed. Sam Basher, which is, you know, essentially the person who made SourceFed Nerd what it is. Without him, people probably wouldn't watch it.
I wouldn't watch it if he wasn't on it.
If he, you know, wasn't on it, I'd be less inclined. I'd probably still watch it, but you know. And William Haynes, and the reason I sort of wrote this out was because they're both people that are my age, and it's rare that you see people my age with as much drive to do stuff as they have. Like, you've got Sam Basher, who essentially created SourceFed Nerd and made it what it is today, and he's literally my age. He's my exact age. And you can see how much he cares. And then you've got William Haynes, who started as an intern, became a host on SourceFed. We really saw him grow up. I mean, the same can be said for Sam Basher.
Yeah.
We saw both of them grow up on these platforms. They learned who they are through these platforms. And then William Haynes is now the host of his own channel. He creates his own music. He has 2 mixtapes out. We're seeing him sort of try new things, and just because he can, and that's something to sort of aspire to for younger people. It's really good to see. And he's, you know, really active in politics, even though he's really young. He's a year younger than me, and he's probably more involved in politics than I am. He, I believe, is even running for mayor in California.
LA, yeah. I've seen a few videos of him running around the streets with signs and a red blazer.
I'm not sure if it's just a comedy bit or he's actually doing it.
I think it's real because he puts loads of stuff on his Instagram, and it's very, very, seems very genuine.
Yeah. So same for Sam Basher. We saw him grow up. He started off as an intern. He moved on to their merchandise side of things, for humanpeoples.com. And then he became the host of SourceFed Nerd, and he nurtured it into what it is now. And essentially, I wrote this thing that was just an open letter to both of them that said, just keep doing what you're doing, because if you do, you're going to make something of yourself. And I know that at least one of them's seen it, and he appreciated it. And that makes me happy, because I just wanted them to know that they were appreciated in this sort of time where they've lost their job, they have friends that they might not see again, they might have to move away. You know, it's
Scary.
It's not great, and it's what they've known for 5 years as well. And they're, again, young people. So I just wanted to get my words out there. And I hope they all do well after
me
this.
Too.
I feel like they will. They all seem to care about what they do.
Well, I started watching it. I'm a fairly new person to watch it. Like, I think you suggested that I watch Sort of Fed Nerd.
Yeah.
Because I was getting into the CW shows, and they were doing a superhero roundup channel.
They did a weekly show that went over all the DC CW TV shows. It wasn't all CW at the time, but now it is. Supergirl moved from FX across to the CW, and they went over it and sort of reviewed every episode every week, and I think that sort of helped you get into it.
Yeah, because I don't watch things, I just look at them apparently.
Sophie does this thing where she watches something but she takes in none of the information and just looks at it. So she has recently started rewatching things that we've already watched.
Well, I like to look at like the characters and what's going on, and then I'm halfway through, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I have to watch this again, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah. Halfway through an episode, we'll be watching something. We'll be like just chilling, maybe just take dinner, and then we'll sit down, watch some superhero shows. Halfway through, Sophie will tap me. Why is he doing that? You mean that thing that they've spent the whole episode explaining? You want to know what that's about?
Well, do you remember Daredevil, the guy that played the Punisher? Like the third episode?
God, yeah.
The third episode, I was like, hey, Mike, doesn't that guy look like the guy out of The Walking Dead?
Hey, maybe that's because he is.
It's like, isn't that Shane from The Walking Dead? And you
No, hold on.
What?
You didn't say, isn't that Shane out The Walking Dead? You were like,
it looks like
he
Shane.
looks a bit like Shane out The Walking Dead. He's been on 3 episodes as a main character, and you've just clicked. He doesn't even look different. He has the same haircut and everything. We were watching The Walking Dead at the time when season 2 of Daredevil came out.
I'm not a very clever person, I don't think sometimes.
You are. I like to refer to it as clumsy in the head.
Not very observant. It makes entertaining stuff though.
So I hope everyone from SourceFed Nerd, people be like, all do well in the future. They've all brought people a lot of joy.
Yes.
Since the creation of all those channels.
And if you're wondering what we're talking about, you can still watch it on YouTube. I highly recommend. I started in the middle and just worked my way back through the old episodes, and it's
great.
It's good. I didn't really watch it much at the end, but I still appreciate it.
I watch SourceFed Nerd every single episode. Episode. It's not episodic, but everything that comes out, I'll watch it. SourceFed, I've only recently started picking it back up because it did dip for a while when they got
new hosts.
The problem was they got essentially 4 new hosts at the same time, and they didn't gel immediately, but recently they've been gelling so well and doing so well as a team, and it's just a shame that it's ended.
It's just a really, really nice channel that I think the internet could have done with having stuck around a bit longer.
Yeah.
With all the crap that's going on, I think it's just like, it's sad that it's ended. It's another crap in the crap bucket.
So everyone at SourceFed is probably thinking about, finding a new job at the minute.
That segue though.
Yeah, that segue though. And you're currently very close to leaving university. So
Don't mind me.
I wanted to bring up and talk about, how you prepare for a new job in graphic design, or how to get a new job in graphic design.
With great difficulty.
This might be useful for people that are about to leave university, or someone that's, sort of feeling stuck in their current job and just want something a bit sort of newer.
Or have a part-time job that you want to get out of, in some cases.
Sophie works in a pub right now, and she's done.
I'm done. Hopefully none of them listen to this.
I very much doubt they would.
You never know, I might be bigging it up.
So I wanted to go over a few things that I did to sort of try to get a job, and I didn't do these immediately, and that was quite detrimental. It took me a little while to find a job after university. The first suggestion I have is look online at creative
I wasn't supposed to
CVs.
mention that.
I did do this when I left university, but if you're going for a design job, you know, you're going to want to design or create some sort of creative CV. It doesn't have to be printed. It could be, you know, in video format. I heard a story about someone that sent a full album of music and got a job out of it.
I heard someone who sent a full box of donuts. They paired with a bakery and to make donuts, and they just put the CV in the box. And he dressed up as a mailman and tried to deliver it to like the head of the graphics department.
That's brilliant. I love that kind of stuff, and I would do that if I had more time. Like, obviously not now. I'm in a comfortable job that I really enjoy, but if I thought about doing something like that when I was leaving university, I feel like it could have helped a lot. One problem is generally you don't apply for jobs in person anymore.
No.
It just doesn't happen. You apply online, but
it loses the personal touch, I think.
It would be a personal touch, and it would I feel like a lot of places would really, you know, enjoy that.
Yeah.
But when you get down to creating your CV, a lot of it is about getting across who you are as a person. So that can be displayed in the way that you design. Obviously, you're going to want to design in the style that you do and that you're proud of. If you are a graphic designer who also illustrates, even if you're applying to just a graphic design place, get some of your illustration in there, because illustration is a very transferable skill. If you do vector artwork, 100% display that in some way, because obviously if you do vector artwork, that translates immediately into logo design, because logo design is just vector artwork. It makes sense, so display that in some way. Your CV should be clear. It should be sort of very to the point. Don't waffle on just for the sake of it. It needs to be concise. You know, get a bit of colour in there.
Get the right typeface in there.
Yeah, get the right typeface. It has to be legible. You have to be able to read it.
I saw someone today who had a CV who was in it was in one typeface, which was you couldn't read, and had like a SWOT analysis, and then a totally different typeface, which was worse to read. It was awful.
Yeah, so you want legible typefaces.
Yeah.
You know, think about this. Now this isn't to scare anyone, but when I applied for the job that I have now, there was over 200 applicants for that job. And if all of those applications are just, you know, sort of basic Helvetica black on a white sheet of paper, that is just going to be ignored completely, because there's going to be one person in that bundle of 200 at least that have a nicely designed, sort of full finished CV.
I used Helvetica on my CV.
You can use Helvetica, but as long as it's not literally just like a Word document.
Oh no,
that's what I'm saying.
It's got no illustration on it though.
Cannot look like just a
boring
block of black text on a white piece of paper. Because you're going
yellow in it.
That's nice. I do enjoy a bit of yellow.
Like a little bit yellow.
I do. I've got a bright yellow chair in front of me right now.
It's very comfortable.
It is a comfy chair.
Not sitting like this.
Big armchair. I mean, I did tell you to move it, but
I'm not about that life.
Nah, no.
Yeah, CVs.
So, CVs, concise, to the point, make it look pretty. And in your personal statement or your cover letter, refer back to the job ad. So say the job ad says, you know, we want someone that pays attention to detail. Bring it up. If it's sort of like, we want someone who thinks outside of the box. Be playful with that term. Do something with it. You could even literally do a box and have me on the outside of it. Just do something that refers back to that. If you can, tailor your cover letter to the individual job. I know that's not always possible because, you apply for a lot of jobs when you apply for a job. But if you can, tailor for specific jobs, because obviously it looks like you've actually paid attention, you've read what it says, and it sounds bad, but you have to checklist when you're applying for a job. You have to meet all of their expectations and, sort of talk about the fact that, yeah, I fit this category.
I have a question though.
Okay.
When you're looking for jobs, where do you start looking? Because I have looked, because I've started applying for jobs now. So I've looked on like job sites like Reed and Indeed.
Those are both very good websites.
Yeah. But a lot of like graphics firms don't advertise on there. It's mostly in-house designers. So
not necessarily. That's where I got my current job.
Did you?
Yeah.
A lot of the things that I see.
What you have to remember is more of those sort of jobs will come up as your year leaves university.
Yeah.
Because generally it works in a cycle sort of system where, when it gets closer to people leaving university, people tend to hire again because there's more graduates that they can hire. But Indeed's very good. Reed is very good as well. Another thing that I did was I just Googled graphic design job location.
Okay.
So graphic design job, Birmingham. And then you find the top list of websites and you go through those, because there's going to be some in there that aren't Indeed or Reed or anything like that. There are recruitment companies. I would recommend not using those.
Why's that?
Because basically people tend to go to recruitment companies when they've exhausted most other options. So if you go to a recruitment company, they'll take on anyone because they get paid for it.
Okay. But a lot of recruitment companies are advertising on Reed and stuff.
Yeah, they are. That's true.
That's no,
what I'm saying is you don't go directly to them. If you go directly to them, you get added to a huge chunk of people, and then they will take all of those people and dump all of their CVs on one company, and that's just a huge list of people to go through. And generally, companies tend to
with that at the moment.
Companies tend to not pay attention to recruitment companies. We get calls from recruitment companies pretty much every day, and the answer's always the same: we don't use recruitment companies. And phone, on the receiver, done. So we've covered CVs, covered a bit of where to apply for jobs, preparing yourself for a new job. So say you've passed the CV stage, you have an interview. Congratulations. There we go. So this is where the real sort of job application actually is. The most important thing when applying for a job is meeting the person that will be your boss. When you go into an interview, you should really have things in mind, like the job you're going for. Generally, you'll be expected to dress a certain way, or, don't go to sort of a modern young graphic design firm in a full suit and bow tie or like
cravat.
Yeah.
Top hat.
Just looking at the companies you're applying for, see the sort of work environment, if they have it on their website or anything like that, and make sure you are making the right impression, because I've heard stories again where people have gone to a job interview in a full suit and they got turned away because they don't hire people that come in suits, because it says on their website, don't come to your interview in a suit. Pay attention. The main thing though, be friendly. The person at the other side of that table is just another person. They like to laugh. They like to have fun. Make them smile, make them laugh. Be a friendly person, and generally, that's the best thing you can do. I like to go in interviews and sort of try to make the person laugh. Because if I make them laugh, then, that's either I've made a fool of myself, which can be endearing sometimes, or I made them laugh because they found me funny or whatever, If you're going to be working with that person, you're going to see them every day, and they need to know that you're someone that they can get on with and work with on a daily basis. So go in there and just be friendly. If you don't get the job, that one's not a round of applause. Don't take it as an offense. Don't get upset. Sort of, pick yourself up, brush yourself off, ask for feedback, and then move on. Feedback's the key part there. Ask for feedback. Ask them what, they thought went wrong. They could just come back and be like, your portfolio didn't really show work that we think would suit our company. They could turn around and say, your work's not very good. And don't take offense again. Just work at it. Work hard. And then they could just be like, we don't think you would really fit in with our team, which is essentially, they're not sure they'll get on with you. So be friendlier in interviews. Those are my tips.
Yeah.
What have you been doing to prepare for applying for jobs and such?
I've been getting my portfolio up to date.
That's a very key thing.
Well, looked at the last episode podcasty thing.
Podcasty
thing.
It's a title if I've ever heard of one.
I like to make up words when I can't pronounce them or think of them, because my mouth likes to talk before my brain does. Getting my portfolio up to date with Behance. I'm gonna start setting up a portfolio Behance-y thing.
The Adobe portfolio.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And
comes free with Creative Cloud.
Creative Cloud.
Yeah.
Cargo Collective as well, which I've found have a limit. If you have the free one, it's a limited amount of space you can use.
The one thing with Cargo that I really enjoy, and I'm moving away from Cargo now. I'm gonna move my website to Adobe Portfolio. The one thing I liked about it when I started my portfolio on there was it's invite only.
Yeah.
Which means, it's sort of, you've either been invited by the people that run the website, or you've been invited by someone that's good enough to be on the website. And that was something that I really liked about it. Since getting on there, I've realised there are some issues. There's limitations with what you can actually do with the portfotfolios.
I feel like there's a lot of issues with layouts and stuff. I don't find the layouts
that's what I'm getting at. Like, there aren't many things you can actually do with the layouts. Obviously, all the layouts are quite stripped back and simple because it should be your work that does the talking, and you're supposed to brand it with all your branding. But I want something a bit more out of it, because a lot of the stuff that I do now is web design, which, I can't really display on a Cargo Collective website. I just don't think it looks good.
No.
So I'm moving away from that. Yeah, yes. Continue. What else have you been doing to prepare?
Getting my CV up, cover letters, all the fun, good stuff. I found that on recruitment websites, you can't really show a lot of your work.
No.
Well, you can't at all. It's just like they look at you based on your CV. So
it's just your
that's
CV.
Good.
That's another reason recruitment companies aren't great.
Yeah, well, Reed, I'm on Reed, so I've been applying for loads of jobs on there.
Well, the thing is as well, you're supposed to put your website in your CV, so they will see your stuff anyway.
Yeah, my wonderful yellow CV. So, I got a good cover letter, which I my lecturer helped me write. So
that's always good. If you've got peers around you, you got people that have been doing what you're doing now, ask them. Just ask them for advice.
But a lot of my friends have been doing pop-up CVs, which is really cool. But they might have a problem with that online kind of thing.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah. But one of my friends has, you know, you talking about the just outside the box thinking.
Yeah.
She put, I've got skills, and in brackets, they're multiplying, like the song, and she's...
What song is that?
Grease.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to sing it to you. No one wants that. I've offered to sing to people before, and they've all rejected me.
See, that may be an issue there, though.
Yeah, it's like, it's not in the same line, it's kind of like hint underneath, which is quite funny. But
yeah.
It's always fun.
So you're essentially doing all the things that I said are good to do. That's good.
Just getting your confidence up to apply for jobs. And
that's one of the main things. You have to sort of, I don't want to say fake it till you make it, but you've got to
fake it till you make it.
You've got to be confident. If you go into something being like, oh, my work's not very good, or that's going to show.
Yeah.
You should be confident in what you make.
Yeah, I went to
as long as it's good.
Yeah, I went to an interview and they were like, because I feel like I'm quite a shy person if you first get to know me, and I'd just faked it. And she said that she's gone on holiday, and when I said bye to her, I was like, oh, have a nice holiday, and she laughed at that. And I think that was kind of like me listening to her and trying to give it like that funny personal touch kind of thing.
Yeah,
so that was fun, and we'll see what happens with that. So,
yeah,
good stuff.
Okay, so moving on from how to prepare and apply for new jobs, we might not have time to go over all our topics, to be honest. But we'll touch briefly on a fun little project that I found online. It was titled Posting Letters, and it's a very interesting project. It's a project that may have been done by other people before, but not in the exact same way. And I thought, we were talking about new jobs and,
experiences,
new things.
Peers.
Posting Letters is a project where two people in a relationship got separated for a while. One of them moved from where they both lived in New York to Brazil. So they've moved, got a new job, new experiences, but they wanted to keep their relationship going, which is always admirable.
It's always a nice thing.
Hard thing to do though, long distance. But to keep that that relationship going and working, they started a typography project where they went out every week and took photos of letter forms in the city that they're in, and it would be a single letter per photo, and they got photos of every letter in the alphabet. And what they did was each week they sent a letter with a postcard which had a letter from the alphabet. So one week one person would send A, the next week someone would send the letter B.
Yeah.
And they did this until they completed the alphabet, so that's 26 weeks worth of letters. And after they completed this, they created a big A1 poster out of all the different postcards, and then when you flip the poster around, you see the reverse side of the postcard, so you see what they sent to each other.
Aww.
And it's really nice.
That's so cute.
It is really cute. Yeah. And it's really nice when you see someone's passions sort of mix in with their other passions.
Yeah.
So you've got these two people that love each other, and they have to be apart, but they're using something they both care about to show that they care, if that makes sense. And
That's
I think that's really nice. I really appreciate that.
Would you do that if I moved away?
I'd do something. Maybe not that. That's been done now.
I'd have to drag you with me instead. It's fine.
Maybe I'd I don't know, hop on a train and come see you.
What, to Brazil?
I mean, if you went to Brazil, I'd hop on a train, then a plane, then probably another train. But
Yeah. You nerd.
It's a really nice project, and I'm not sure you've seen the actual work yet,
no.
have you? Let me just so here are the individual postcards. It's all sort of like found imagery in the environment that they're both in, so you can see quite clear differences because one of them's in New York, the other one's in Brazil.
Very different style of typography.
Yeah,
really nice.
and it's all, they all look individually really nice, and then they sort of, you know, have these 26 weeks of sending each other the postcards with, you know, their letters written on the back, and then they created the full posters, which has every single letter form all the way through. Actually, it's not 26 weeks, is it? It's more.
Yeah,
it's
there's
double
like
that.
2 of each on there.
So that makes it 52 weeks.
Makes it more than 26.
52 weeks.
The maths podcast with Mike.
And each, so they both sent one of the same letter form to each other from different environments. So you've got,
see the difference between all the different letters and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think you can kind of see which one's which as well.
Yeah.
I think the first one's New York and then the second one's Brazil.
You can tell New York's really like clean.
A lot of it's more clean, yeah.
Brazil's more like, looks like it's more hand rendered.
Yeah, it does look a lot hand rendered.
Which is really nice.
So the one side of the poster is all these different postcard fronts with a bit of text at the bottom on this nice sort of dark grey background, and then you flip it round, all the text description that's on the bottom is also flipped on that side, so you can see it backwards. And then, you know, all the back sides of the postcards are on there, which is all this sort of really personal sort of letters that someone sent to their loved one, and it's a really nice project.
It's adorable.
I think we need more projects like this currently. With the way things are, we could use some of this feel good graphic design.
I mean, I'll send you postcards if you want.
I mean, we live like 10 minutes from each other. But
I'll move. I'll go somewhere sunny.
You're gonna move so that you can send me postcards.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
This reminds me of a project called Dear Data.
Yes, you did mention this very briefly. Would you like to explain it to me, because I have not seen it?
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's about 2 creative friends. One of them, they both worked in New York, and then the other one moved back to London, where she was originally from. And basically, they send each other postcards with hand-drawn infographics on. So one of them will be like, the amount of times I walked through a door today.
It's interesting that they're sort of hand-done infographics, because that's not something that you generally see.
Yeah.
And like, it kind of looks like, I've got images up now of, it looks like it was made into a book.
Yeah, it's made into a book, and it's like, I think there's blank postcards, so you can make your own, send it to like a friend or.
Yeah.
And it's really nice.
But it looks like some of them are sort of like in sheet music style, and then some are like fingerprints, and then some are like squiggles and. Excuse me. Yeah.
Good. But they're really like, they're quite complicated for hand drawn, and like when you look at it first, you're like, what? It's just random.
Just
patterns.
squiggles, yeah.
And they include like little keys on there. Because it's so hand drawn, it's not in like.
You know what I find
hierarchy.
interesting? This is like almost an illustration based project, whereas the other one's typography, but they're both for the same purpose, which is cool. It's nice to see that people have these ideas in completely separate places, and sort of.
I think they did the same thing each week. Like they'll both do like amount of times I laughed today, and you can see the different styles.
You know what? I have heard about this. Yeah. I think I heard about this on the Design Matters podcast with Debbie Millman.
Oh, really?
I think they had one of them on the podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
It was really interesting, actually.
And we have the other one here. Just joking.
It was interesting to hear the sort of things that they decided to do, because it was weird stuff. Like, they've done things like, you know, how many times someone's annoyed me today, and like,
oh, that would be full if it was me.
How many times someone's laughed or smiled, and
one of them was like how many times I looked in the mirror, and she like wrote down what mirror it was
and how she felt at the time, and those kind of things. Yeah, no, I have heard about this actually. what I like is they go into how they feel about all of these things as well, which the other project doesn't really do. That's more of a we send each other letters essentially, but we also include physical letter forms. It is a different project when you think about it.
I would love to start doing something like this.
I'd like to find something interesting, like a project that I can do that is not digital.
Project. Yeah.
Because all I do nowadays is digital. I don't remember the last time I put pencil to paper.
I remember the last time I got a handwritten letter.
Yeah, my project wouldn't be that. My handwriting's awful. I mean, I've got some here. Take a look at that.
I think it's cute.
I think it's a mess.
It's very very nice.
It's very nonchalant. It's very messy. It's messy. But yeah, that's a nice little project to go out on. Sort of avoid all that doom and gloom for a bit.
Yeah.
Feel like I got dust in my throat.
Oh God.
I'll edit that out. Oh, a couple of edit points on this one. But I think that's all we have time for now. We've been going for over an hour now.
Wow.
Couple of little edit points on this one though.
Yeah, my bad.
I've been coughing a lot. A lot of that's to do with me.
Well,
I think I'm actually getting ill, which is not good for anyone, honestly.
Well, it's my first podcast as well, so some of it might be my bad. I did punch the microphone.
You did punch the microphone.
Did try and mic close on this microphone.
See, no one else hears that, but I heard that.
I actually didn't hear it. I just kind of went for it.
I heard that very loudly.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. We wear headphones when we record the podcast, so we know that the audio is good. I mean, I have a light right in front of me on my audio interface to make sure it's not clipping as well. So I don't know why I'm describing a visual thing on a podcast, but I'll describe it to you. So you see these lights here. Yep. So they're green and they're fairly low down. The top part.
Looking at the set lights, and one of them is green.
The top part has a word on it. It says clip. If it hits that, it's going to mess the audio up. It's going to spike and it's going to be really bad.
Is that what happened earlier?
It probably did. If you look here at the wavelength, you see where it jumps up there?
Yeah.
That part is too loud.
Oh.
I imagine that's when I coughed, though.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll stop describing this very visual thing that no one cares about, and I'll say that we have one thing to do before I round out the show. Actually, we got a couple of things to do.
We do.
So the first thing is the spotlight.
Spotlight. That's for you, Josh. I thought I'd carry on the tradition.
I'm so done with this tradition.
I knew I was going to start singing today.
So I know that you already have a spotlight prepared.
Yes.
I did pre-warn you that you would be doing one.
Yes.
So go ahead and
let me just
tell me who you are spotlighting this week.
The person I'm spotlighting is her name.
Into the microphone.
Sorry. Her name is Audra or Claire. I'm probably butchering her name. Do you want to have a go at it?
Spell it out. Each letter.
Audra space.
AUCLAIR.
No. Yes.
Yes.
I thought you spelled her first name.
Yeah. Go ahead and let people know what this person does.
She does hand-drawn, would you say portraits?
She does a lot of character-based illustrations.
And I think they are beautiful because she does the most vibrant paintings, and the character designs and the line work on these are just incredible.
A lot of her stuff is because it's mostly hand done. A lot of it is watercolor.
Yeah.
And she seems to have this sort of weirdly good control over watercolor.
For sure.
She has images that have like people that have trees growing out of them and stuff, and it's like the way she's controlled the watercolor is just incredible. So impressive.
She went traveling in Japan, I believe, and she did some environmental studies with gouache.
Yeah,
gouache,
it's very impressive.
and watercolor, gouache, and ink, and they are just incredible. They look so realistic, and she does some stuff that is just mainly in ink, and like pink brush pens and stuff.
Yeah,
and the line work is amazing. And one day I hope to be this good. But she has a Instagram. Audra Claire.
Yeah, so it was the exact same as how we spelt it before, which is.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and spell that out now. It is AUDRAAUCLAIR. No space because it's a username.
Oh, yeah.
So that's Audra Claire.
We'll link it down below, probably.
Yeah, and we will.
If you search that in YouTube as well, she has a YouTube account and she puts all of her processes up on there.
Yeah, I believe she also has a store envy, which is audraclaire.storeenvy.com, and she sells prints and stuff. And if you want a physical copy of some of her work, I'd recommend it. It's really impressive.
It's amazing.
Sells a lot of originals as well, so she'll take the original, hand done artwork, and she'll sell that for a bit of a higher price, but it's definitely worth it to own the original thing.
She does some cheaper prints as well, so I'd recommend getting some work. Yeah. I'm going to get some, I think. And
that's a good call. Yeah. I would also do that.
She did some Star Wars stuff as well, which is nice.
Yeah, so, sort of Boba Fett's helmet with flowers growing out of it and stuff.
Yeah, it's just a really nice style, and I highly recommend you check her out if you're into the hand-drawn kind of idea. She does do some digital stuff as well, so it's nice to see how she gets from the hand-drawn
broad spectrum of work. I've noticed a lot of the people that we recommend on the podcast tend to do a broad spectrum of stuff, but they tend to have their own hits the nail on the head kind of style. So if you want to follow her, links will be down below. They always are every single week. And the person that I'm highlighting this week is someone that really doesn't need to be highlighted because you've probably seen her work before. She's called O Nips.
Oh, yeah.
That is OHNIPS, like nipples. Nips. She is a predominantly digital artist who does her own sort of comic book style illustrations. And the thing that I love about her work is she messes with perspective so much. She always has things that come to the foreground, and sort of like a lot of her work has a sort of fisheye look to it. So it's bending the sort of the way the image looks, and it's brilliant. She's also not afraid of doing not safe for work art, which is always censored unless you support her on her Patreon. So if you want some of that lewd artwork, you can...
Want to see some actual nips?
Yeah, if you want to see some actual nips.
I'm currently looking at Overwatch booties right now.
Yep, those are definitely a thing. But honestly, her style is quite unmistakable. She has a very particular way of drawing characters that it's just unmistakably her work. She's very good at color and shading. She has a lot of different styles that she can sort of work in. She even does hand-done stuff, which when she does that, she usually does it with colored pencils, and the way that she actually shades and colors using it is just incredible. It's really, really impressive. She wins a lot of sort of art competitions as well. I believe she won a Last Guardian competition. She won oh god, I'm trying to remember now. She's done a lot of stuff, honestly. So you can find her pretty much everywhere at ONIPS. That's OHNIPS, pretty much everywhere. She also does her own comic book, which is called Offcell. So that's that can be found at offcellcomic.com. That's OFFCELL comic.com. It's about a bunch of original characters who are in a prison together, and it's well worth a read. It's brilliant. I believe she tries to release a page every week, so it's like a sort of slow updating comic book. Yeah, as always, links are down below. And now we'll move on to the last thing we have to do, which is we have a review to read out. And
have some reviews this week.
Yes. To be fair, this review happened a little while ago, but I've been slacking on checking it because we hadn't received any yet, so I just assumed for a while that there wasn't any. So this review comes from someone called Belle Salvatore, or Salvatore, not sure. It is a very simple, short and sweet 5-star rating. The title is just "Oh," and it reads, "You two are amazing and very funny too." So thank you for that, Belle Salvatore. If you would also like to leave a 5-star rating, we will read all of those out on the podcast. You can leave any amount of stars and we'll probably still read it.
I mean, you can leave one because I'm here.
Yeah, you could.
Shit, Ronnie, I'm looking at you. And I listen.
So if you want to go ahead and rate and review us on iTunes, that really helps us out. It helps us get seen by more people. More people will listen to the podcast and we'll grow, expand, and be able to do cooler things. Bring on more guests.
Maybe bring Josh home from Finding Demons.
Yeah, you know,
that would be good.
Try and open a portal with the power of, 5-star ratings.
I'm sure we'll be back next week.
Wink.
Wink. I'll try and wink for you.
Yeah, so if you would like to do that, that would be really kind of you. We will also be uploading to YouTube every week. We missed last week, and that was kind of my fault because I thought it uploaded, and it didn't. So you can leave a comment on YouTube. We may start reading those out as well, just to sort of get some of your opinions on some of the stuff we talk about. Save a little segment for that at the end. As always, you can find us on YouTube at Bright Futura Podcast, on Instagram at Bright Futura Podcast, on Facebook, Bright Futura Podcast, and on Twitter, Be Futura Podcast. Couldn't get the full name. Did you know? I've not said it enough yet.
No,
I think I could say it some more. Yeah, if you search Bright Futura Podcast, you'll find us pretty much anywhere you want or need to find us. Hey Sophie.
Yes.
Where can we find you?
You can find me on the Twitters at Sophie Casewell. It's SophieCasewell.
Ooh, that was smooth.
You don't know how many times I had to spell my last name out.
I mean, I assume a lot. I also am alive. Yeah. I also know how many times I have to spell my name.
Awful.
It's worse for me because I have an apostrophe in my name.
That's so weird.
And also, for some reason, whenever I spell my name, I go O apostrophe R-A-W, and everyone's like, he said E, right? The letter E for elephant? No, I said A. It's quite clearly different.
But,
Come on. Someone spelt it with 2 E's. Today, I got a package at work, which is a sign we're putting on the wall with the logo.
Okay.
And I spelled out my name. He was like, okay, surname? Because he got my first name fine. And I was like, O-R-A-W. And then I watch him. He writes O-R-A-E-E.
Wowery.
Awry.
How would you even think that was a
I don't
thing?
know.
What are you, Scottish?
Yes.
Do you not think it's weird there's natural apostrophe in your name? This freaks me out.
No, not really.
It's your official name and you've got something that's not a letter but is in
It's punctuation.
You've got punctuation in your name. That's so strange to me.
Well, not really. If you think about the name O'Connor, that also has it.
I'm not thinking about the name O'Connor.
Or you think about the name O'Rourke, which is another name. That's O''R''O''U''K''E.
I think people
That's a quite common name. That's not my name. Don't. You can find me everywhere at Mike O'Rourke. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That's MikeOraw. I mostly use Twitter, sometimes use Instagram, rarely use Facebook.
Well, you can find me on Instagram as well.
Oh.
At Sophie Sophie Casewell _ I don't know why the underscore's there, but it just
You probably
is.
made the account previously and then forgot how to get into it, and then...
Yeah. My old name was Sophie Smells, which was a great name.
Accurate. 3 your nose. That's all we have time for this week.
But follow me, I better.
Interrupt me one more goddamn time.
I will.
So that's it. We're going. You've been listening to the Bright Futura podcast with your host, Micah Raw, and
Sophie Casewell.
Yeah. Got through that in one take.
Totally one take.
That's a goddamn lie.
Anyway, we're going now.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.